Breakups don't always end love. Sometimes they only end the relationship. People move on in public. They smile, they stay busy, they act fine. But privately, their mind goes back, not to the fights, not to the ending, but to you. Because love doesn't disappear on command. It lingers. It hides in habits, in curiosity, in silence. And when someone still loves you after a breakup, they don't say it. They show it in quiet, uncomfortable ways. Ways they often don't even understand themselves. So if you've ever wondered whether someone still holds feelings for you, even after everything ended, these are the secret signs that love didn't leave when the relationship did. Sign 1, they keep emotional tabs on you. After a breakup, most people say the same thing. I'm done. I've moved on. I don't care anymore. But love doesn't disappear that cleanly. When someone still loves you, they keep track of you, quietly, not openly, not obviously. They notice changes, your mood, your energy, your life. They know when something is different. Even when you never told them, they might notice you're happier, or quieter, or more distant than before. And the strange part is this: they don't always know how they know. They just feel it. They may say they don't check. They may tell themselves it doesn't matter. But their attention keeps drifting back. They pick up on details they shouldn't. A change in your routine, a shift in your tone, a new pattern in your life. Not because they're spying, not because they're obsessed, but because emotional attachment doesn't shut off when a relationship ends. Love turns attention into instinct. Even when they avoid your name, even when they avoid asking about you, their mind still keeps you on file. They might casually ask mutual friends about you. Not directly, not seriously. Just enough to know you're okay. Just enough to feel connected. Or they may notice you without meaning to. A post, a comment, a passing update, and then they move on with their day. But the thought stays longer than it should. This isn't curiosity, it's emotional investment that hasn't been released. Because when someone truly lets go, they stop tracking. They stop noticing. They stop caring about changes. But when love is still there, attention stays alive. And here's the part most people miss. They don't do this on purpose. It happens in the background of their mind. Automatic, unplanned. They tell themselves it means nothing. They say it's just habit. But habits don't explain emotional reactions. If your good days lift their mood or your bad days weigh on them, that's not neutrality. That's attachment. So if someone seems oddly aware of your life, even after the breakup, even without direct contact, it's not coincidence. It's a sign that emotionally they never fully left. And before someone reaches out, before they regret, before they admit anything, this is usually where it starts. Sign 2, they resurface without a real reason. After a breakup, silence is supposed to mean distance, closure, moving on. But when someone still loves you, silence doesn't sit right with them, so they find reasons to break it. Not important reasons, not honest ones, small ones. A random message, a simple question, a casual, hope you're doing okay. Nothing emotional, nothing risky. At least, that's how it looks. But here's the truth. People don't reach out without a reason. They just don't always understand their own reason. They tell themselves it's harmless, that it doesn't mean anything, that it's just being polite. But emotionally, something else is happening. They miss access to you, your presence, your reactions, your voice in their world. So they test the connection, not to restart the relationship, not to confess feelings, just to feel close again. These conversations often go nowhere. They start small, they end quickly, and that's intentional because deep down they're afraid of what a real conversation might bring up. So they keep it light, safe, surface level. But the timing tells the real story. They show up when they feel lonely, when something reminds them of you, when they sense you pulling further away. Not because they want answers, but because distance is starting to hurt. And here's the part most people don't notice. If they truly moved on, they wouldn't feel the urge to reach out at all. Silence would feel natural, not heavy. But when love is still there, silence feels unfinished. So they return, again and again. sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, always casual, always just checking in, and then they disappear again. Not because they don't care, but because caring scares them. This back and forth isn't confusion, it's conflict. One part of them wants to move on. Another part refuses to let go. And that tension leaks out as contact without purpose. So if someone keeps resurfacing in your life, without clarity, without explanation, without direction, it's not random. It's unresolved emotion trying to stay alive. And before someone admits that they still love you, this is often one of the clearest signs. Sign 3. They struggle to replace you. After a breakup, people try to move forward. They meet new people. They talk. They distract themselves. On the surface, it looks like progress. But when someone still loves you, nothing quite fits. They may start something new, a conversation, a connection, even a relationship. Yet something feels off. The smiles don't last. The interest fades quickly. The excitement never settles. And they don't always understand why. They tell themselves the other person is fine, kind, attractive, available. But emotionally, the comparison has already begun. Without realizing it, they measure others against you. Not intentionally, not cruelly. It just happens. They notice how conversations feel different, how laughter doesn't come as easily, how comfort doesn't arrive as naturally. And instead of feeling closer to someone new, they feel more aware of what's missing. This is one of the hardest signs to admit, because it goes against the idea of moving on. They don't want to still be attached. They don't want to think about you, but their emotions haven't caught up to their decisions. So they pull away. They lose interest. They convince themselves it's bad timing, but timing isn't the issue. The issue is unresolved love. When someone still loves you, their heart stays loyal even when their mind tries to move on. And here's the key detail. They don't always talk about you. They don't always show sadness. Instead, they feel disconnected from everyone else. They feel bored more easily. They feel less patient. They feel strangely unsatisfied. And sometimes that emptiness brings your name back into their thoughts. Not because they want to return, but because emotionally you still feel like home. So if someone keeps starting and stopping connections, if nothing seems to last for them, if they can't settle emotionally with anyone new, it's not because they're confused, it's because their heart hasn't released you yet. And before someone admits that to themselves, this is often how it shows. Sign 4. They react emotionally when you pull away. Distance is normal after a breakup. At least it's supposed to be. But when someone still loves you, distance doesn't feel neutral. It feels threatening. They may not say anything at first. They may act calm. They may pretend they don't notice. But emotionally, something shifts. When you become quieter, when you stop responding the same way, when you seem less available, they feel it, and their behavior changes. They might suddenly reach out more, ask questions they never asked before, show concern that feels slightly out of place. Not dramatic, not obvious, just enough to close the distance again, or they react in the opposite way. They become cold, short, distant on purpose. Not because they don't care, but because caring hurts. This emotional reaction is important, because indifference doesn't react. When someone has truly moved on, your distance feels expected, even relieving. But when love is still there, distance triggers fear. Fear of losing access to you completely, fear of being forgotten, fear of finality, and that fear shows up as emotion. They may get irritated over small things, feel uneasy without knowing why, act slightly off balance around you. They won't admit it's about you. They may not even realize it is. But emotionally, your absence creates pressure. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't react to losing something unless it still matters to you. So if someone seems unsettled when you pull back, if your silence changes their energy, if your distance creates emotion instead of peace, it's not accidental. It's a sign they haven't emotionally accepted the ending. And before someone fully lets go, this reaction almost always appears. Sign 5. They hold back what they really want to say. When someone no longer loves you, communication becomes easy. They say what they feel, or they say nothing at all. But when love is still there, words become dangerous, because saying the wrong thing might reopen something they're trying to close. So they hold back. They pause before replying. They rewrite messages. They choose safer words, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. They avoid deep conversations, avoid honesty, avoid moments that feel too close. And yet they don't fully step away either. They exist in between. This is one of the clearest signs of unresolved love. They want to speak, but fear the consequences. They want to ask how you really feel, but are afraid of the answer. They want to say they miss you, but stop themselves at the last second. So instead, they keep things controlled, polite, measured, emotionally restrained. But restraint is not indifference. It's self-protection. Because if love was gone, there would be nothing to protect. They wouldn't hesitate. They wouldn't overthink. They wouldn't feel tension in silence. And here's the detail that matters most. Silence doesn't mean absence of feeling. Sometimes it means too much feeling. So if someone seems emotionally careful around you, if they speak less, not more, if their words feel filtered, it's not because they're empty. It's because they're full of things they're not ready to admit. And before someone either lets go or finally opens up, this is often the final sign. If this video felt personal, there's probably a reason. Love rarely ends cleanly, and sometimes understanding the signs brings more clarity than answers ever could. If you found value here, take a moment to like this video. It helps more people who are quietly searching find what they need. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. Real psychology, real emotions, no noise. And if one sign stood out to you, share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes saying it out loud is the first step forward.